Hey, I'm back with another video about self-care during your cycle. And this time I'm talking about particularly during your bleed, during your period. Today I'm going to talk about period products and especially the ones that I've used in my lifetime, which is most of them. Comparing some of the cheaper ones to the more spendy ones, some of the organic ones, and reusable ones. So today I'm mostly going to be talking about the old-fashioned and traditional style of feminine hygiene products. So for most of my teenage and young adult years, I used something like this, a paper-covered tampon with a paper applicator, a cardboard applicator that was biodegradable. I thought that was a great idea. However, I didn't realize that most cotton, that is, at least that is produced in the United States, is highly toxic and treated with lots and lots of herbicides. So the cotton in these tampons is very toxic to have inside your body. So as soon as I learned that, I threw these kinds of tampons out and I started getting ones that were more natural. I'm not going to name any names, but this has the word natural in it, and this is their brand of little panty liners. You'll notice that there is not a lot of paper involved with these. It's mostly plastic. I didn't like these as well because of all the plastic. I don't like filling landfills with plastic. And you'll see this has kind of a pop-out applicator in this one. And it is organic cotton, but it also has a lot of rayon in it, which we'll talk about in a minute. So this one is all plastic, the applicator. The only part that's somewhat biodegradable is the inner part here. Again, not a real good choice. And while I really love to put these in my purse, they are mostly plastic, not just on the outside, but also this liner that goes against your panties, the sticky part, is also covered with plastic. So again, not a great choice. I started looking for more natural and organic brands, and my favorite natural brand all along has been this one, which is Natracare. I use their panty liners all the time, and I love their tampons as well. These are made in Sweden, and so they're not locally made, which is a little bit of a bummer for me, but they're definitely high quality, and there are no plastics even in the panty liners and pads. So fully biodegradable, which is a total win. I wanted to go over some of the newer products that I found on the market that are organic and talk about some of the characteristics and just show you what they're made of as well. So this one is one that I found in a local health food store. The brand is This Is L. That's the name of the brand, and it's the letter L, not the name L. It says organic cotton tampons, BPA free, no rayon, chlorine bleaching, or synthetic pesticides. So it's got organic cotton in it, which is great. It looks kind of like a coffee bag. It's got this like coffee seal on the back, and it's shaped kind of like a square bottom, round top bag, which is kind of interesting. And you open it through this front sticker, which is also really interesting, and that's how you pull out the tampons. And you'll see once you get into it that there is plastic involved. Again, not my favorite thing. So even though the tampons inside are fully cotton and biodegradable, this is all plastic. The wrapper is plastic, the applicator again is plastic, and only the inside is biodegradable cotton and no rayon, which is good. So while this looks really pure and innocent on the outside, once you dig into it, you'll see there's a lot of plastic involved. So I want to show you another new one on the market. This is OI, and it's got lots of messaging on the label in kind of a handwritten style. So this says biodegradable is not debatable. Very nice messaging. Care for your world on the back. So let's open it up and see what these are like. Okay, these are like my old favorite, long paper. So there is an applicator inside still, but it is a paper applicator. and it is rayon free. On the inside, it looks like it is still bleached cotton. It is not natural cotton, but it is bleached cotton, but biodegradable and organic. It actually comes apart pretty quickly and pretty absorbent, just like the others. Fully paper applicator, so that's great. So this one is made in Slovenia, and this company is based in New Zealand. So again, they're not close by to those of us who are in America, but for those of you who are in New Zealand or in Europe near Slovenia, this would be a great option, very locally made. So let's go back to some of these ingredients and why they are maybe our friend or not our friend. GMO cotton is a real trend these days. You can pretty much guarantee that anything that doesn't say organic cotton is GMO cotton, which is cotton that's made to withstand being sprayed with lots and lots of pesticides and herbicides, and mostly herbicides. And so they can plant it, and weeds can grow up in between the cotton plants, and they can overspray with an airplane that sprays and douses just tons and tons of really strong herbicide to kill those weeds growing up among the cotton plants. So no weeding is necessary. But the cotton plants are also doused with all of that chemical, which is highly toxic, highly influential on your hormones, and so can really affect your uterus and your vagina and the health of your microbiome in those areas. The other thing that is being used in tampons is rayon, and we never used to have rayon in our tampons, but it is a very cheap commodity. It's a wood pulp byproduct, and it is synthetically made, so it's like a cellulose product that is made to be more absorbent than cotton because of its synthetic nature. It's able to be manipulated. So it really is not a friend to our biome because it does not encourage healthy bacteria. It actually encourages really harmful bacteria. I will definitely link to more information about that below for you so that you can read more on that, because it is kind of a debated subject. There's definitely a lot of arguments on either side of that, depending on what side of the industry you're on. But like I said, what I use is Natracare or Natracare. Their pads and tampons are fully plastic free, and so I really like them. Again, they're made in Sweden. I think Sweden has really high standards for the products that it creates, both for their own use and for deporting. And so I really like this product. It is definitely my favorite among disposable products. This is what the Natracare mini pad looks like. It does appear to have plastic on the back with the sticky part, but it is not plastic. It is fully biodegradable. You'll see that it does not come in a plastic wrapper like this one did, so you can't put it in your purse. But I find that if I fold it very exactly in half and put it into a back pocket where it is snug against my body, that it's pretty hygienic and it keeps it pretty tight against if the back pocket is a tight pocket, like in my jeans or something. Then it can stay for a good part of the day discreetly without being too much of a noticeable bump in my pocket. And I can use those, especially now that I'm headed toward menopause and I have a very light period. It's really handy to have these and just use these and not have to put anything inside of me. I'm relieved to be past that stage in life. And then OI also has a mini pad or panty liner product. So let's look and see what that looks like. This one does have a plastic cover on it. It is similar in size to the Natracare product, but it's a little bit more curvy and maybe a little thinner in the middle. And you'll notice it's a little brighter, and it doesn't have the breathable barrier that Natracare has. You can see there's a little bit of an extra layer of barrier woven in there at the top. This one is a little bit more just like a toilet paper feeling pattern, so the cotton is right up against your skin. This one has a barrier to keep you a little drier feeling. So pretty comparable. Again, they're both made in Europe, so there's not much of a difference in terms of the number of miles that each of these takes to cross the sea. The only difference really is that this one has a plastic cover. So for those days that you just don't have any pockets, it might be really good to have one box of these on hand and a box of the Natracare ones for those days that you do have a pocket. The other thing that is more of an old-fashioned product is something called Glad Rags, and I have my Glad Rag here. It has been washed many times, so it's kind of wrinkly and not very attractive. But the Glad Rag has a snap on it, and you snap it around the bottom side of your panties, and so the top side goes inside and catches whatever needs to be caught. Now, just like some of the more modern reusable hygiene products, Glad Rags do need to be soaked in ice water and sprayed with hydrogen peroxide in order to get the blood stain out. So they're not super convenient, just like anything reusable in our lives. They take a little bit more time and effort to maintain. But Glad Rags are really good for those of us with a light flow. So those of us who don't have to worry about seeping through something like this that doesn't have a barrier. You can make your own ones of these. They're just made of 3 layers of flannel fabric and a snap. In the old days, my mom and my grandma, when they were young, used to use something like this, and they pinned them in with pins, which I think is a little bit more treacherous, so the snap makes a lot more sense these days, and you could do Velcro as well, although that wouldn't last as long with a lot of use. But this is a great idea, but I just want to say, to be realistic, that the cost of this is not just the one-time purchase, but it's the maintenance of keeping it clean and stain-free. And I find that when I have my husband and my kids around sharing my bathrooms, it's not as easy to keep a little container of ice water to soak these in and get them clean, because it's just embarrassing and seems a little unsanitary to have these kind of things soaking in the bathroom. So unless you have a creative way, like a hidden shower that no one uses, and you can kind of tuck them away and not forget about them, and you can keep them in some ice water and then spray them with peroxide before you put them in the wash, then it is a little bit of a hassle, and it's definitely a privacy issue more than anything. That can be said of the silicone feminine hygiene cups that are out these days. They're wonderful for those with a heavy flow. I highly, highly encourage them, but you do need to wash them, keep them sanitary, and that does require having a space in your home to do so. So just requires a little forethought. The same thing is true with the period panties called Thinx. I love them. I have a pair of them myself, but again, you need to be able to soak them in ice water and spray them with peroxide before putting them in the wash. And so just something to think about before you invest in these reusable products, which are really great. If you want to hear more about these reusable products like Thinx and those silicone cups, my friend Kayla has a whole video about those, especially those 2 things, and I'll link to that here. So self-care during your cycle, during your period, and especially with period products. Really encourage you to take good care of your body by using only organic cotton if you're putting something inside of your body. If you're just using pads and you can manage with just pads, then the issue is not really about hurting your body, although some pads can have perfumes that aren't healthy for your body. But you do want to have organic cotton still, and for the planet, I would encourage you to get biodegradable products. So really encourage you to look for Natracare at your local health food store, or co-op, or natural beauty store or pharmacy. That's definitely my choice for the simplest, easiest, purest, and it's not actually really that much more expensive than the mainline brands of tampons and pads. So take good care of yourself, value yourself, spend a few extra pennies per product, and I think you'll be happy that you did so. And don't forget to check out my friend Kayla's video. That's a really good video, and I think especially for those of you who are just starting this journey, who have a heavier flow, really makes sense to invest in one of those silicone period cups. And I think that those are a great idea, and one of them goes a long way, and two of them can definitely do you for your whole period. So check that video out, and I will see you in the next video, which will be my last video in this series of self-care tips for your cycle. I'll see you then.